Hello and welcome to episode 392 of the Daily Sales Message Podcast, where every single day I share a piece of simple and actionable advice that's designed to help you feel more confident and sell more stuff too. I don't know why I'm getting softer and softer as I'm talking to you, but there we go. In today's episode, we're talking about attention. Attention span is one of the most depressing things you can possibly think about in this day and age, and I'll give you a good example. So the actual kind of recorded stat, if you Google it, for attention span is measured in seconds. It'll be 5 seconds, 8 seconds, 3 seconds, depending on where you look. But if you get your phone, and if you notice when you're on your phone, particularly if you're using Reels or TikTok or Shorts or anything like that, the speed with which, or even just social media, the speed with which we scroll through stuff, it's not 3 or 5 seconds, is it? Because 1, 2, 3, flip. No way. That's a lifetime. We're doing it much quicker than that. And if you think about it, I couldn't even tell you the decisions I'm making when I see a TikTok or a Reel come up like, nope, yep. I don't know what decision-making mechanisms happen in there, but it is, and it's moving extremely fast. So attention span's very short. The need for fewer words and less complex sentences is paramount. But the thing about attention is it's a spotlight. So if you imagine we turned out, and I wish I could do this now, but I'd probably mess it all up. Turn off all the lights. Actually, I could do it like this. If we turn off all the lights in the studio right now, in my office, and I got a torch, and I was shining the torch around, you would see a small circle beam of light. Much of the room would still be shrouded in darkness, but there'd be a small beam of light with a bit round, etc. spotlight. That's how your attention works. You look at something and you're looking, if I move that into shot, you're looking at the thing, you maybe see the peripheries of it, but everything else is kind of blocked out. And why this is important is because of something called WYSIWYG. What you see is what you get. When people are trying to understand your offering in particular, and this is more of a clear sales message consideration, if you've got a complex offering, people trying to understand it, you've literally got to tell them the obvious basic things that you might think are really obvious and basic, but it has to be there. It really has to be there. What you see is what you get. If I don't tell you that I run a window cleaning company or something random as well as clear sales message, then I couldn't wish to sell you window cleaning services because you don't know about it. So many years ago, a student of mine said I should be called obvious sales message rather than clear sales message. And I think they did have a point. Sometimes we might literally have to say, this is a mouse. Some people may never have seen an Apple Magic Mouse before, but like, oh, what's that? A new iPad or something? So you literally have to say, this is a mouse. This is a wireless mouse. This is a rechargeable wireless mouse. Sometimes you have to literally, well, not even sometimes, most of the time, you have to point out the most basic, obvious things because attention is a spotlight. I'm looking at the information that's coming to me in the moment and really not much else at all. So unless you're telling me the things that I need to see and hear, you can just presume I don't know them. Using that notion of attention as a spotlight, imagine shining a spotlight on a social media post of yours or your website or an email or any of the communication. Would you pass that spotlight test? Would I be able to work out what you're doing from just a very small limited amount of information? Or does it take an awful lot of information and time for you to explain what you're up to? Because guess what? If it takes you a while to explain what you do, or people don't get it straight away and you've got to explain it, explanations are expensive, syllables are expensive, and every second it takes for you to explain something to somebody, or every second they don't get it, they're a second closer to not buying. And if people don't understand it, they can't buy it. Not they won't buy it, they cannot. If I physically don't understand this is a mouse, even if I need to buy a mouse, I cannot buy this because I don't understand it's suitable for my needs. So if they don't understand it, they can't buy it, is one of my original clear sales message mantras and something to think about. Right, so bringing back to a conclusion, boys and girls. Attention is a spotlight. We're looking at the things we're looking at, particularly when we're skimming information on a page, etc. We look at things we look at. We exclude pretty much all else. So you need to be pointing out the blinking obvious to people. And I don't think anything is too obvious necessarily. What you see is what you get. WYSIWYG. Put it out there. Get it out there, make it obvious, make it basic, make it bold. Talk about your location, your opening hours, what something is, how it works. Don't presume any level of understanding or proficiency, because that's, from my experience, where things can go wrong. Right, that's it for this episode of the podcast. Tomorrow in episode 393, you do not need a credit card for tomorrow's episode. You don't need one, and I'll explain why. You're probably thinking, well, I didn't go for this episode, James. Well, all right, smarty pants. But you don't need a credit card for tomorrow's episode 393, but I'll explain more then. In the meantime, thank you for listening and watching all the way to the end. I do appreciate it. I'll catch you tomorrow for another exciting edition of the Daily Sales Message.